University OWERRI in the personality of Professor Uchenna Chukwumeze, PhD SNN, SAN, SN, SAN. Yes, because the representative of the Vice Chancellor, if the person is here present, we need to know. Secondly, the Vice Chancellor of Alvan Ikoku Federal University of Education, OWERRI, in the personality of Professor Ngozi Stella Lemchi. If the representative is here present, we should also know. The Rector, Federal Polytechnic, Nekede. The Rector or representative, if you are here present, you notify us, please. The Director General, Nigerian Copyright Commission, in the personality of Dr. John Asien, NFSNA. You are welcome, sir. A bigger round of applause, please. A bigger round of applause. That's right. You're welcome, sir. Welcome to the Eastern Heartland. The guest speaker, Professor Bojo Inaibe, FSNA. Are you here present, sir? Oh, madam. Sorry for the misconception. You're welcome, ma'am. We didn't give her a round of applause that's befitting. Another one, please. Another one. Thank you very much. You're welcome, ma'am. Now, the guest speaker, Professor Anthony Ukwoma, FSNA. Professor Anthony Ukwoma. May I also recognize the giant, as I call him, a notable giant, an academic guru, Professor Francis Ikwebu, FSNA. He is as gigantic as his height. You're welcome, sir. That's right. And he's of the Imo State University over here. We know him too well. Permit me to recognize the resource persons and team. Chief Dr. Ikenna Ahanya, FSNA. Chief Dr. Ikenna. Is he here present? Not yet. Another resource person, Dr. Udoko Obong Amana. Is he here present? He is a robotic engineer by excellence. Is he here present with us? Oh, beautiful, sir. You're welcome. You're welcome, sir. Welcome. Welcome. The head of department of Imo State University over here, where we are domiciled present, Professor Rufus, Professor Pius Ntago. Professor Ntago. You're welcome, sir. We are in your domain today. May I also recognize the head of department of Fine and Applied Arts, Alvan Ikoku Federal. Recognize some other people. If you are in this hall, you are a VIP, in as much as this laudable event is concerned. As time goes on, we also recognize some notable personalities as they come. You are all welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I once again, which you know too well, roll up the topic. We are talking about National summit. We're having a national summit on artificial intelligence. And the theme is artificial intelligence, intellectual property rights, and the future of visual arts. AI, threat or strength? That's a laudable question. Now, in the item number 4, we are now going into item number 5 as we make a presentation of welcome speech by the Vice President of Southeast Zone.
Great artists, great SNA, great SNA. Thank you very much. Today is a D-Day. We have done our part as human beings, and we know we are going to succeed at the end. Not so much to say, but to, first of all, apologize to the keynote speaker. He's our man. We know him with time. In fact, for some time now, my heart was beating boom, 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 boom. I said, how am I going to handle? He's a man of time. If not that I pray to God, he would have been here before 10 o'clock. My DG, sir, my knees are down. I'm so sorry. And I know my president too. He would have been here, but they delayed his flight from Abuja. My president, I'm so sorry for starting this late. People were around, some of them were hungry, and then you have, they have a cultural day. You know, they want to do content, so some of them went out, they are coming in now. We thank God for the safe flight for the DG yesterday and for yours today. It is a big commitment for people to put in more than 500,000 to attend events. Artificial intelligence is not for artists alone. It is something that cuts across, including even food that we eat. Today, AI can teach man. Today, they are trying to replace artists with artificial intelligence. But one thing is consolation. Definition of art includes that it must be done by man. Scholars in art field says AI-generated art is not art. There is so much argument, but it's art because AI is operated by man. At the end of it also is an artwork. But the fear is that it's almost taking over. But when we meet today in this summit, that was the essence, that after this meeting we should be able to have a way out how we can manipulate AI for the benefit of mankind, especially the visual artist. For the young ones in the school, the budding artists, you have a lot of challenges. So many of you cannot use your brushes again, but in our time we were lucky, we were taught from the cradle how to use pencil. Today AI can draw. AI can do almost everything. So are you going to be left as a vegetable because allow AI, machine, to think for you? You have a challenge in your hands, our students, a challenge in our hands, our lecturers, because AI has not been fully integrated into the syllabus and the curriculum of art. It's a problem. There's a gap. That is the gap we want to fill today by interacting and coming up with a communique. I welcome you very warmly to this event and have nothing to fear. Our brothers, others are coming in, even people outside arts, as they've indicated interest to join us. God bless you as we continue this event. Those who are streaming from outside, we are sorry we have delayed, but we are on now, and it's going to be well. Thank you, and God bless you. As I introduce have the privilege from the MC to be the one to introduce my president. Please, before he comes, I want to let us know briefly why you see the present executive of SNN making programs back to back. It is his mindset. I don't have power of my own to carry out any project, even as vice president. But when he identifies that you have something to offer, he gives you a chance to do so. That is why we are able to do a lot in the Southeast zone. There's no year we've not done events in the Southeast zone. It's not that we have a store of money that we use. It is strong will that we use to do events. My president, I thank you so much. As you maybe your speech, you know how powerful it used to be. My president, sir.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my DG, I first would like to say that it's been wonderful honor at all times. We have come to see that we built in a partnership that I think I have benefited from the most from the Nigeria Copyright Commission, and I want to especially thank you for that. Please put your hands together for him. For me, the definition of being a distinguished gentleman is for one that says the words and then says truth to it. And it's not just this place, it's not Abuja, it's not Lagos, it's been everywhere, wherever we want him to be at. We almost want to just say, pick the phone and make a call and he's there. But we keep taking advantage of the situation and we thank you so much. And for everyone, I'm sure that this event is started late. My own apologies will go in the form of say, like, I knew that I was going to be here very early. But the rain in Abuja today was so very heavy, so much that no flights were moving out. But then, thank God, finally they said we could come in. And I thank you all for all of the energies and the patience. Now, regarding today's event, most times, we want to like feel as if when we say artificial intelligence, as if we have a rival in the art, as if someone is really out there to take your job from you, or as if I just look at this instead as an assistant, one that enables your work to come so very easy, one that makes it very possible for you to finish your own projects faster, and I'd say so much precise rates than you would want to think. And oftentimes, when we look again, we want to like consider AI and then want to ask the question, is AI art or is it not art? Place is another discipline in the art. It's another branch of the art, just like you have graphics, you have all of that. Please consider AI as another tool that is there to make your works very easy. This is an enhancer. And moreover, it is so much better because the algorithmic art that we discuss only says that it pushes back and forth what you would need and require so very closely. So it brings it very forth and then in very little time. But while others struggle to like discuss that, I make it bold to say that just like my vice president said it here now, there is somebody behind the channel that is feeding the information. Why don't we become those at the back end also to like try to feed better information as artists? Because the artist understands it very well. He understands the hues. He understands when it recedes. He understands when it gets enlarged. And who does it better than to stay behind writing the programs? So, and because we have not paid attention to that, we have seen a friend, we have seen a tool that has come so very close, but we're like distancing ourselves from it so much. And then again, I'm so very happy that the DG NCC is here today. The question people beg to ask is, who owns the right to any piece of intelligence generated, say, art. All AI generated art. Do you want to see the person that prompted for it? Do you want to see that the data that is out there to, for the usage, it is there for? Or who do you want to like credit with that? So that should be our own concern in the future as we look towards it. Now for whoever owns it, sometimes we want to like see the position of the AI company itself, who also feel like they have done a lot of, say, impact to like generating that for you. I have no answers to that, so but I'm happy that we can have leeways to the answers on that. Now for the strategies that we want to employ at this point, please I beg to say that when a thing comes, we easily say let it pass away. And for an event like this, and for all of the energies that have been put behind this to actualizing this, please let it not die at the beginning of, say, at the inception of this program. Let it be something that we walk through all together. Let it be something that we believe in. Let it be something that we continue to aspire, say, to like push forward. But as for me, for today, besides thanking you so much for your patience and energy and all the time that you spent here, I want to say, please, let's go to the back end of these data companies. Let's be involved in even ascribing for the algorithms that are involved in this. Let us be the ones that are feeding the information to it directly. I thank you so much, and do have a most wonderful time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the President. That's a very wonderful one. And he has gladly given us an exposition of a lot of things and feelers. Thank you, sir. Once again, we thank you very much. A round of applause for him. A round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. May I at this juncture recognize the presence of Chief Chinonso Prince Fortune Ibeto, Omenka na Ozu of Eziobodo. He is the head of Department of Visual Arts and Museum Services, Imo State Council of Arts and Culture, OWERRI. You are welcome, sir. You are welcome. He's here present in our midst. You are all welcome to this great occasion. Before we proceed, pardon, there's something I want to do now. Just give me that, that permission. Prof, and everybody, and the President. You know, we are talking about AI, and it's important. This is just a little teaser before we proceed, and it's a gesture. With due respect to everybody, please bring out your phones and take these numbers, please. Your phones, except the President, who is going to have an automatic aspect, and Prof, who is going to have an automatic aspect. So the rest, bring out your phones, and I will call 3 numbers. I'm not going to call them again, just once. It's an MTN card. 1, 2, 3, go. 8983 090 391 4589 582. If you've got it, raise your hand up. Anybody? Okay, let me repeat. Do I repeat? Now, once again. 1, 2, 3, go. 8983 0903 9145 895 82. Okay, raise your hand, sir. All right. Another one, please. Let me be fast. Another one. 6667 1686 7874 324 53. Okay, let me repeat. Pay attention. Has anybody got it? All right, now I repeat. Okay, all right, that's right. Okay, I think I better stop for now because of our time. All right. Now, sorry for that. One more, please. Somebody said something there. Do I start? Okay. 8327 9904 7195 40454. Anybody? Okay, down there. Okay. I think I will stop here for now for this. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have had the keynote presentation by the president of SNA. Permit me now to talk about the keynote citation of the keynote. Yes, stick, please. We are going into number 7, keynotes, citation of the speaker.
For want of time, in fact, my DG sir, maybe after your presentation, I will still have to read this because it's something we are going to learn from it. People don't know who is behind intellectual property in this country and in Africa. Please, please, it will is it after? Okay. All right. Don't worry. I will still have time to do that. I read it and I know we are going to learn so much from you. The DJ is the lawyer. It's after. All right, sir. I hereby introduce the DG Nigerian Copyright Commission to take the floor. And the whole world watch him speak. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I seek your kind permission to stand on the well-established protocol. My Vice President and indefatigable organizer, I'm sure you'll come to understand why I say you shouldn't bother to read. It's largely because I know that it's a paradigm shift. Whether you like it or not, AI has come to stay with us. So if you want to begin to read my citation, it will probably take you another, I don't know how many minutes you want to devote. But while we are here, all I can tell you is my name is John Asen. Or I tell you I'm DG Nigerian Copyright Commission. Ask AI, who is he? And AI will tell you. So there's even no need to read the citation. Because the person who is going to read, where's my slide? Because the person who is going to read will very likely be consulting AI to tell him or her about me. So that's why I said, let's hold it. But by the time we finish, I'm sure some people would have gone online and they have gotten the information that anything you are telling them will be like, we already know, don't worry. So, because of time, I will run through the slides. And that's with the kind permission of Mr. President. So if I'm rushing, know that I'm using presidential fiat so that we can leave room for questions. Now, next slide. By the way, the screen is not very sharp. I dare say that a time may come when robots, well, they're already doing it, will be able to sculpt like any artist. But at the moment, that is one area they have not been able to go into effectively. So we are seeing a gradual shift or movement of artificial intelligence, and the debate often is around intellectual property. So I'm happy to be part of this conversation. Now, what you've asked me to try to provide an answer for is asking me to choose between two sides. Because the question is AI as a threat or AI as strength. I will probably be disappointing you because I would not immediately cast my vote one way. But at the end of it, we'll see that both may exist depending on where you are viewing the question from. Now, I would want to ask us, as artists, are you for artificial intelligence or are you against artificial intelligence? The truth is, it doesn't even matter where you cast your vote. AI has come to stay. Unfortunately, most times we think AI is a recent development. AI has been with us for probably more than half a century. It's just that it is getting so close to us that we are beginning to ask some critical questions. But it's comforting, or it should be comforting, to know that it's not only in the arts that you have this problem. Time was when people would tell you, and I'm sorry I will use this example, they'll say when you're coming to church, come with your Bible. Don't be coming with your phones or tablets. That is not, come with the Bible. And the question I asked them was, what is the Bible? It's not the word you are looking for. Does it matter whether it is printed or it is soft copy? But those that were vehement that you must hold the Bible, I see that gradually they're swaying to holding tablets, and everyone in church ends up with a Bible in devices. It is gradually we are catching up. So sometimes it's a factor of where you belong in the tech spectrum. It's often a factor of whether you are born digital or you are digitally challenged or you have a phobia for digital. But if we reflect, we will know that now this is where we are today. Must begin now to look at how to use that which we call artificial intelligence. And as far as intellectual property is concerned, we should see that indeed that could be an ally. Because if we refuse to use AI, those messing, we use it. If we refuse to use it, judges who are in courts, we use it. If you refuse to use it, those writing, you may say that AI is not art. No problem. I tell you that there's a generation that is born today that will be born with AI and they will love the art of AI. It's not for us. It's for that generation. And then we find solutions to how best to manage artificial intelligence. Now, to let you know that this is not our problem alone, very recently, the Canadian Billboard came up and said that from henceforth, they will no longer take AI music, even if you are doing well on the music charts. They will not consider wholly AI-generated tracks as in the top list of music. So if your music is AI generated, they will push it aside because totally found AI music topping the charts. And that is where we are heading. So the significance of that development lies in the fact that a music chart is not necessarily a copyright tribunal. So although the Canadian ARIA has come to that decision, whether or not that music is protected by copyrights or not protected will be dealt with when we come to look at the laws that we have, particularly in this country. Next slide. So this brings me to what someone said, and he asked a question whether what we're experiencing is another evolution or indeed a revolution. And I will say again, it is both. Because we don't seem to fully understand how it is going to impact on human culture, human values, and the direction of civilization. In fact, I was at a forum and I said, now we speak the same language. Because someone came up, yes, that's AI talking. You see? So you can't hide some things now. AI will tell you what you are doing. I said we speak the same language because as I was listening to the person speaking, I could hear some things that were familiar. It means that if both of us go to the same AI platform to generate something, we may have something similar. It may not be exactly the same depending on the prompting, but there will be some similarity. So I say, well, what happened for those who are Christians at, is it the Tower of Babel, when there was confusion? It appears we are coming back to speaking the same language. Because what the author there was saying is that AI indeed, and I've heard that being said here, AI may indeed be another tool. But believe me, even for me, coming from the IP sector, unlike any other tool, unlike photography, because some would say, well, photography came, artists thought it was going to kill paintings, but somehow paintings have survived. But AI is different from those technologies, because AI is not only a passive tool, it's a tool that appears to be learning so fast. And because it's learning so fast, it's now able to generate. And the real issue is not around the technology. It's about that strain of technology that enables it to generate. And unless you understand how it works, you will keep scratching your head. Like one of my friends said, he said, that Babalawo, have you consulted him? Babalawo in Yoruba means the diviner. Have you consulted him? I said no. He said, yeah, ask ChatGPT. And we put it and I got an answer quickly. And I said, wow, indeed, that is the new Babalawo. Because everyone, well, not everyone, but most of us here, you have a headache. You have a palpitating heart. And before you see your doctor, you want to ask AI, what could be happening to me? We do it. So, but the challenges are multifaceted. There's a challenge of ethics. There's a challenge of reliability. There's a challenge of generation. There's a challenge of similarity. Again, we are talking about AI and technology. I hope at some point, no, it's okay. It's okay. I love the welcome. I thought you would hit that thing on the ground to show that you have arrived. That is it. Very good. Again, I don't want to go ahead of myself. But there are areas where one is concerned about artificial intelligence. And I'll just pause. Since my brother, the chief priest, or has joined us. Children that don't understand the culture, we ask AI. And it's a presentation that AI gives them that they will take as authentic. They will ask AI, what does that thing stand for? And it's what AI tells them that they will take. So it means then that AI can easily distort your culture depending on how it was trained. AI can be hallucinating. AI can sway towards a particular culture. That when you say, okay, give me an Igbo priest dressed this way, if he's hallucinating, he can give you a white man. Until correct that no, it should be a black man. It should look like this. So you'll be having promptings until you get what you are looking for. But you now ask, like we'll see, if we don't have time, I'll give the slides. So no, I didn't ask how many minutes we have. And I don't want to trust AI on this one. Because the AI will be working with the information that you gave me yesterday. AI will not know that we are now on overdrive and we are trying to catch up with time. So please, let me know when we are due. So it's a tool, but it's not like photography. And the question then is, if I say, give me a wonderful painting in the style of Mohammed Suleiman, sometimes you can come back and say, no, I cannot do that. Okay? Because that's because it has been reprogrammed so that it will not look as if it's copied. But there are ways of going around it with the right prompting. And if you use the right AI model or platform, you will get what you are looking for. And we have had cases where these matters, even with paintings, have gone to court. But one thing I will say here is that the courts have not concluded. Interestingly, Nigerian courts have also, thankfully, have not had to deal with a matter that has AI issues. But then, there have been some decisions that we draw from and begin to extrapolate and begin to imagine how a court may look at it. And I think this our conversation is good so that before the cases go to court, there be some guidance so that the cases will not go the other way. Next slide. So, as far as we are concerned, the visual art sector, I think we stand on both sides of the AI equation. Now, you may be the person using AI to create the work for tomorrow. At the same time, you may also be the person whose work of yesterday is being used to train or to teach an AI machine on how to create. So that is where the balance often begins to wobble. Because as an artist, and I've seen this a lot, I saw an artist who was painting, and I think he got to a point he needed to paint some things into that painting, and he used AI to generate the image, and then he was transferring that image through his brush to canvas. That, you would say, is being assisted by AI. Now he's going to put his paintings online, maybe for sale or whatever, or just to show on Facebook that he's a good artist. But every time you put it out there, the system out there is also harvesting and taking the details of the paintings and the person, and is using that to train the AI machine. So that if I want to now paint like you, the machine will be able to tell me how your painting looks. But if you didn't have any presence anywhere online, the machine may say, I don't know how this person paints. I'm paraphrasing. So it will not be able to give you an exact painting similar to that person's. So that is why we are saying that AI is not just another tool. You know, it's just another tool. No, it does not. But then saying that it's just another tool will not resolve what, in my view, is indeed a legal question. It is a tool, certainly, but potentially is a tool whose capabilities and capacities were developed through exposure to other people's works. So the risk you take is that if a client comes and says, why don't you do us a good painting, and you want to cut corners, and you ask AI will give you a good painting. Then you take it and place on canvas. And the day you are presenting, somebody comes and says, no, that's my painting. You will now say, it's not your painting. I painted this. The question is, where did you paint from? Was it as in the days of old where you say, I got the inspiration? Or is it as in very recent time, artists would take a photograph and use it to paint on canvas? And I will tell you that we have had cases like that, and the artist lost the painting because the agreement to enable him go scot-free was that he will surrender the painting. You will know if I start giving details. Wonderful painting, large, you know, that would be probably about 6 by something. Large painting of one of the presidents. Beautiful. He was commissioned to paint for under 200,000. But that painting was available and put on sale at Transcorp for close to 800,000. And the photographer who took the portrait photo saw it and said, you can't sell this. That is my photograph that you turned into a painting. And of a truth, that was a studio photograph that the painter took and put on canvas. As far as the copyright law is concerned, that is an infringement, because we produced somebody's work. But mine is just one side of the divide. That is you using a reference to create your own work. But like I said, the other side of it is your work being used to train the machine. But I will say here that this debate is not, when it comes to the practitioner, the debate is often around self-preservation. Are we going to be replaced by machines? That's the question that the tech companies are asking, is why won't they allow us train our machines to get better? And they'll give you very wonderful arguments that when you train the machines, your children will be able to learn better because they will not have access to well-trained models and machines. But the question will be, who actually benefits from that training and the technology? Yesterday I heard in the news that Meta was asked to pay, was it about $18 billion? Because the argument is that the algorithm they put in their Facebook, Snapchat, all those social media platforms, that they have a way of trapping young ones, and they become not just addicted, but they are so overwhelmed and soaked into the social media platforms that they think is distorting their normal social development or their concentration. And out of, to settle, they paid so much money. And the question I was asking myself is, how much of that will come to Nigeria, where our children are also using the same social media platforms? So you see that sometimes when you are the consumer, what comes to you or what affects you is different from when you are the person creating or the owner of the technology. So the question is whether, incidentally, we have the new Copyright Act 2022, and you want to ask, does the copyright law have anything to do with AI? The question I will ask is, does it need to? Maybe not much. Because sometimes we are so overwhelmed and think that there's so much legally that has not been taken care of as far as AI is concerned. So I will tell you, for instance, that the Copyright Act provides that for a work to be protected, it must be original. For a work to be protected, it must be fixed in a medium. So for an artistic work, it must be fixed. And for you to enjoy copyright, you must indeed be a person. You must be a person. And of course, copyright does not protect mere ideas, principles, style, and all that. So with that, you can begin to have an idea of how the law will treat works assisted by AI, works produced by AI, works that are being used to train AI and all that. So, but we can look at what happens in other countries and it will help us in reaching some conclusions. So, I didn't say change. You want me to rush. You are not the Mr. President. So, the AI era question is not just whether AI was used in creating this work, but whether human effort gave the work some original character. So that's why some of the cases that have come up in the US, in Europe, is always around that. So you could have a work like that music, like we'll see one of the huge paintings that benefited from AI, and the question was whether that would be a copyright work. And the position of the US, which is not different from the position of the Nigerian Copyright Commission, is that if AI creates a work entirely, that work belongs to everybody and it belongs to nobody. But if you use AI to assist you in creating your work, that work could belong to you, the person who used the AI to be assisted. But the question then is, how much of assistance will you get to cross the threshold that would now make the work a work that is produced by AI? I will return the question to you. When a child brings home work to the parents to assist him or her to do, the question is, do you solve the whole problem for the child, or you tell the child how to solve the problem? Because whether you do this or that would determine how the teacher will assess the work. And since we're a university community, when a student brings a research project to you, you want to know, did you copy from a book, or did you just research and use that book to write your work? So you see how sometimes it's not easy, but you can find a way to get the answer. And by the way, I pity university lecturers, because you are on one side of the divide, and the students who are on this side of the divide are smarter, they are digital, that they don't understand why you will expect them to spend 6 months going back and through a library when they can, in their room, in one day, finish up. We don't like it, but we don't know the future we treat it. Because when we become lecturers, probably we'll be more accommodating than we are. Remember those days when you enter the classroom, the first thing they ask you in primary school is to recite the multiplication table. 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 3, 6. And you do that religiously. You got to the secondary school, they told you you could not bring a slide rule into the exam hall. In fact, to even have 4-figure table, it was a battle. But today, children go with calculators. In those days, you couldn't bring a calculator, so you were using your head to crack. And now it's like, bring your calculators. We are not testing you on that. So when you bring your calculator, we'll test you on something else. Just as in some universities, especially outside, they say bring your books, open book exam. You can open your books. What we are testing is not what you crammed, is what you know. So I think this is how AI will eventually develop. So the question is, who is the effective human creator of this work? Okay. Who took the photograph is this. The law says the person who took the photograph is the owner of the copyright in the photograph. So you that for the photograph, you are not the author of the photograph. And he lost on that ground. So it means that our courts from way back have begun to find ways to answer the question. But one thing I know courts will likely do is that the human-centered character of copyright will be thrown away. Like I said earlier, for you, copyright will be a person. Now, the case where somebody went to court, I think it's and prompts quality services. And the argument that the defendant put up was that this guy drew the architectural drawings, but that he was not a member of the Institute of Architects. And the court said, and so what? He said, no. Not a registered architect. Just like somebody may say that I am not an artist because I don't belong to SNA. And the court said no, that you don't need to belong to any association or any professional body before you can create. And once you have created and you have met the other conditions to enjoy copyright, the law will grant you your copyright. They say what mattered was whether the statutory requirements had been satisfied. Once it's satisfied, shikana, you own the copyright. So it means that, like what the courts often say was that, and you know this very well, the protection granted to you as an artist has nothing to do with the quality of your work. Nothing. So whether I draw my own upside down is nobody's business. If that's my own artwork, it will qualify as an artistic work for the purpose of copyright. Okay. Now, again, excellent, controlled by technology. Before technology was, we were. So, many of us know Muri Adejimi very well. Now, Muri Adejimi's case, so the link between creation, originality, and the connection between that person creating and the work itself. Muri was a case where somebody saw some paintings and decided to use them or in a calendar. And Muri wasn't happy with that. And the fellow said, no, I got authorization from this collector who said I could use works on my calendar. And the now, assuming Muri had sold the paintings to this collector, selling your paintings does not mean selling the copyright in your paintings. So which means even if your work is used to train AI, the copyright you own in that work will always remain with you. So it doesn't matter where your work is taken to, so long as it is your work, that will remain with you, unless where you transferred or assigned the copyright in the work to that other person. That's also what happened in the case of Kolade Oshino and John Holtz. And I commend those veterans artists that have fought these things to the courts. And the courts have established clearly that there's a difference between the work as a copyright material and the painting as a physical property. So that will also resonate when we are looking at issues around AI and AI-trained works. Now, it's also important that, like I said earlier, the Copyright Act expressly forbids protection for mere style, method, principles. So the mere fact that this is my style of painting will not be protected by copyright. So anybody can copy anybody's style of doing things, so long as I'm not copying your own expression of the idea. The same way I can take your idea and run with it, copyright will not stop me from doing that. So the mere idea that you have is not enough. Many of us, well, some of us who are old enough, who watched NTA in those days, we remember Bassi and Company. So when a case went to court in Saros International, what the plaintiff was saying was that the person was talking like, what was that guy's name now? Was it Mr. B or something? In Bassi and Company, Mr. B. That guy was talking like Mr. B. And that was what they wanted the court to decide. That you cannot imitate Mr. B. And the court held that no, that is just a style, not a work that will be by copyright. Some of us will remember this advert that when it was still very popular. It was Cigar Get You Awa. When you hear it, it will sound very much like Fela, but it wasn't Fela. The mere fact that the voice sounded like Fela would not be something you would take to court for copyright purposes. So it means that when AI produces a work and is looking like your style, that alone would not be sufficient. So that gives us some comfort that if our courts could decide this way, it means that if there's an AI issue in that direction, they may find a way to resolve it. Like I said, I won't go into all the details. And maybe the Muri Adejimi, like I said, the court said that ownership of the case is not ownership of the work. Ownership of the work is not ownership of the copyright in the work. So if, for instance, you have students of creative arts, and because there's an assignment, a painting assignment, and this student did not use, and he saw a roommate's canvas that's already stretched, and he said, okay, let me quickly use it. And he quickly does a painting. And after doing the painting, on his way to submit, somebody sees it and says, I love this painting, but let me buy it. And there's a good offer. And the student sells the painting to that person. And that person now puts it in his living room. And somebody from government house sees it and says, can't we use this on the front page of our calendar next year? You say, I don't have my. Please use it as you like. And they pay you good money. And then the students who now painted sees it on the calendar. You already know as experts now that that student has a case against the university and against the person who authorized the state government, and the person who authorized the state government to use it. But if the person who owned the canvas now shows up and says, look, it was my canvas you used, now you see where you now start drawing the line. Yes, your canvas may have been stolen, but the painting on the canvas does not belong to you. So when you are interrogating, interrogating an AI work, you must ask. Now, like I said, the real problem, the real debate is probably more in the area of training data for AI. And that's where a lot of authors have made some inroad. Recently, there was a settlement because the AI training model was said to be using, in fact, they were just stripping all manner of works to train their AI. And most times, this big tech will settle out of court. They want to move on. So there's more and more concession being granted to say, okay, you can train with our materials, but you must train under these conditions. So it's a question of how much are you going to pay to use our works to train your AI. Now, for that, I would again say that if you are going to train, you need to get authorization from the right person. A case I would also point out, many of us know Peter Obey very well. Peter Obey was a frontline photojournalist that captured the Civil War more than any other Nigerian photographer. He had a book, Nigeria, a Decade in Colors, where he had photographs from the war. A magazine used a photograph from that his publication, and got authorization from acknowledged Daily Times, and said they got the photographs from Daily Times library. And the court said that's not a problem. Like Peter Obey said, he was not a staff of Daily Times. He was a freelancer. So the copyright in the works, the photographs he took, did not belong to Daily Times. So even if those photographs were in the library of Daily Times and you got permission from Daily Times, you were getting permission from the wrong person. And he won on that basis. So it means that if you are going to train AI, it's important that you get authorization from the right person. And finally, I would say that mission of the form does not defeat a copyright claim. And that also has been clearly shown by the courts. In the case of Elechi Amadi and Shell Petroleum. In that case, Elechi Amadi work, pepper soup, produced as a dramatic performance for Shell Corporation without his permission. So there was a transformation. Pepper soup was a literary work printed, but the complaint was about a drama, and the court rejected Shell's argument that they had an exception, that the law allowed them to recite, the law allowed them to read, because what they were doing had a commercial, and the exception they were claiming absolved them of liability for using pepper soup. So it is important as we approach conversations to 6 questions that a court will ask when issues like this arise. Is there an identifiable copyright work? Like we saw in the case of Saro, the style of somebody will not be a protectable copyright work. The second question will be, where is the human creation in this work? So we will not have the same problem that the Canadian Music Association had. If there is no human creation, there will be no copyright. Even if AI tries to mimic a human, it will still not qualify for copyright purposes. The third question is, what human choices actually produce that original character that you say exists in the work? So that's why if you are using an AI tool, I dare say that you must cross that threshold that will now make it clear that you were only assisted and not that AI produced the work for you. And then you now ask the question, what copyright controlled act was involved in the area you are complaining about? This is instructive because there is this recent case, Olubaki against Nigerian Bar Association. That's the case where somebody painted the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, and somebody else, actually he gave it so that NBA will present it to Mr. President. But he was not there when they now went to see Mr. President and presented the painting. And he was angry. And he went to court that they exhibited his painting without his permission. Because there was nothing else he could hang on to. The work was not reproduced. The work was not copied. The only thing is that the work was given to Mr. President when he had not authorized it. And the court, you are laughing. You see, once you are looking for a remedy, you will look for anything to tell the court. And what the court, there was nothing in the rights that you owned that had been breached. So there was no copyright infringement. So when we are dealing with AI issues, unless the infringement of the AI or the people that are training AI, unless that infringement is well defined in the Copyright Act, reproduction, performance, broadcasting live, adaptation, translation in the case of literary works, unless those things you can point to it, then you cannot say just because they used my work. The question is, used your work for what? And to tell you, it looks easy now, but I'll tell you that sometimes it's not always as easy as that. There was a case where a professor like you wrote a wonderful treatise, volumes of law books, but he had taken a loan from a bank. Somehow he could not repay, he had not repaid his loan when the bank got distressed and the bank was taking over assets and liabilities. And NDIC decided to sell everything the bank had, including the books. So they sold all the encyclopedia that the man wrote, and they sold at a discounted rate. And the man now saw the books on the street being sold at a very cheap rate, and he went to court. And he told the court that they sold his books without his authorization. And lo and behold, the Federal High Court awarded him 300 million naira in damages. When somebody now, a friend now reached out to me and said, what do we do in this kind of case? I said, what was the offense? What was the infringement? That actually it is true that the bank sold the books. I said, my friend, don't get worked up. Go and check the Copyright Act. First, did they sell the originals or they pirated? He said they sold the originals. I said, then go and sleep. Go and sleep. There's no case here. Tell the man that even the appeal you are going for, this is what you are going to tell the court there. Because as long as the Copyright Act does not put selling original as one of the things you can control as a copyright owner, then NDIC will not be liable for selling off those original texts as at a discount. And I think when the other side now heard that that argument was coming, they now decided to settle the matter out of court, because there was no basis for that decision. So that tells you that the courts, I believe, can handle it. So I would just, even the man handling the slides is also getting tired. So just, okay, these are some of the foreign cases where the courts or the copyright offices have looked at what the artists can do in this age of AI. What they have said in Thela case, I can give those cases through the VP, and then we can read them at our own convenience. What they headed was that a machine, where a machine is the sole author and there's no human authorship, then you cannot claim that there is copyright in such a work. In Ireland, that was the one I thought, I mean, this is my own personal view. I believe that if you prompt AI over and over and over, it should get to a point where you should be able to enjoy copyrights. Because that prompting will make it such that no two people will have the same painting coming out. Because you have prompted in your own way. We even had cases where somebody drew something and told AI to help him to improve on it. So that's where you now have the gray zone, whether that is being assisted or being generated by AI. So the issue of authorship was contested in that case, despite the fact that the man said he had 624 prompts to get that painting out. And of course, the attitude in the US and Europe is slightly different from what you see in Asia. I think the Asians are a bit more receptive to AI and the rights that can emanate from there. So there's like human choices in prompts and the parameters you set can help you to enjoy copyright in the final outcome of the work. So I believe that Nigeria will probably be swaying between the one that is more American and European and the one that is more Asian. And we are the ones that will guide the courts in how to handle it. Now, I will not go into the issue of the cultural side, because I had made that as a point before when is it chief priest now or high priest, when the chief priest entered. So there are gaps in the Copyright Act, but I believe that this can be handled as we go on. The first gap is that there will be the issue of where there is mixed human-machine authorship. That would be an area that has to be addressed. The second will concern text and data mining, because there's no clear provision, no clear exception for the use of text to train machines or to mine data. Once you mine the data and you store it, you are reproducing that data. So if you now have all of Onobra Player's work, all of Ben Enwonwu's works, you are going to have them reproduced into your system. And that would ordinarily amount to a reproduction. But also close to that, that is the training data transparency. Because there are issues about the moral side of things. When you are training with data and you are not transparent, so that people will know that you have used this data and this data and this data. And that's why you see that more and more of these tech companies are beginning to provide enough metadata to know where the works they used came from. Then the fifth concern will be the issue of responsibility throughout the AI value chain. There is need for people to be more responsible. It may not be so damaging in the area of arts. It may not be so damaging in some creative side. But there are areas where irresponsible use of AI can indeed be damaging. And I always say that, like I said about our culture, if care is not taken, if you go to any AI now and say you want to see how Lagos looked like in 1750 something, AI will generate something for you. But whether the person is wearing a shoe or not is another thing. Because if AI is not properly guided, it will just give you what it thinks it knows. And that may end up being an irresponsible answer to a particular query. Then, of course, the other one will be the issue of digital replicas and identity. that I think will be a concern for the artists today. Because more and more artists would somehow, not that they will be lazy, but they will become so dependent on technology that they won't know when they are just rolling out replicas of other people's works. Then, of course, the issue of how are we prepared even for licensing? How is SNA prepared to even begin to watch over the rights of its members? How does SNA know who is doing what, where, whose works are affected by what? When should we cry out and ask for some money to be paid to those whose works are being used here? And of course, finally, how do we treat issues that will distort our folklore and have abuse our cultural sensitivity? So finally, and I think finally I'll just go on and on. Okay, yes, I'm talking, just keep going. So on the question whether AI is a threat or a strength, if you get to that point, one more. Let's see that one. What should you do now? I think. Okay. Now, as an artist, it's always good to have your own evidence. And let me tell you where I find that very interesting. Some of us, we go to the studio, we have wonderful paintings, we have sculptures, but there's no record. So you can't even tell me now that this is your work. You sculpted it, because show me a photograph of when you were sculpting. You don't have. Show me a sketch of the sculpture that you have done. You don't have. So what are you saying? Now, when Ben Enwonwu had problems with Nitel, I always like that story because it shows that as an artist, you must know the other side of art. You must know the side of documentation, the side of business, and a little bit about your rights. And that's why I don't want to spare any school that is teaching fine arts or creative arts and does not get to talk about the rights of the people they are teaching. Now, then anyone who went to court against Nitel, and his complaint was that Nitel was using the drummer, that's the sculpture, was using it as a logo for Nitel. And Ben Enwonwu said, look, I sculpted that piece for you to mount in front of your headquarters. I did not design your logo for you. So you either pay me for this or you stop using my work. And they had a very smart lawyer. The lawyer said, you know what? There was an exception that says that work is in a place where it can be viewed by the public. Anybody can reproduce that work without your permission. So that was what Nitel said, that look, that work is already in public view, so you can't complain. But Ben Enwonwu was also smart, and they came back and said, no, we are not complaining about the sculpture. We are complaining about the sketch that this man had prepared, because he had a sketch before he went to sculpt. So he showed them the sketch, dated, and at that point, they now saw that, okay, the exception in the law has to do with works that are in public display. The sketch Enwonwu did was not in public display. So it means it had copyrights and it could not be reproduced as a logo. That was when Nitel now settled. That's Ben Enwonwu way back in the 70s or 80s. So we must learn and do it right. Okay. So when you are putting your works on platforms, always look at their terms, because you may not know that behind it, they have asked you to assign the right to use your work for anything. So a lot of the works we are putting up on free platforms may have something in fine print that will not enable us to have any claims. So the question which I think is a trap question, and I said I didn't want to answer. Is it a threat or is it strength? And I say it can be either a threat or a strength. The law and the market will determine what it is. It will be strength because it will lower barriers. It will allow for rapid experimentation. It will allow for restoration. And of course, it will allow for accessibility and help to create new art forms. The restoration is very important. But if you have an old photograph and you want it to be restored, AI will give you a clean, refurbished photograph. The same with an artwork. A lot of artworks that had faded and would have been lost can be restored by AI. So there's a lot that we can use the strength for. The threat is the fact that there are invisible, uncompensated trainings. So the owner of the work is not being compensated. There are industrial imitations that will now make art to become cheap. Forget this thing you are saying that that AI art is not art. Okay. A time will come when people will be displaying digital photos and they would, oh, sorry, they are already doing it. Like someone told me, say, look, the daughter asked him, say, Daddy, what is this album for? Oh, the guy said, okay, this is your grandfather, this is your great-grandfather, this is me when I was in secondary school. And the lady said, and so what? Why do I need to know my grandfather? The man said, at that point, he knew he had lost it. All the photographs he was keeping, the child said he didn't need them. So, if you are keeping albums, please go and digitize, otherwise, the next generation will not look at them. So, we must now worry about the loss of attribution. That is very important for the artist. And of course, the issue of synthetic identity and cultural adulteration. So, having heard all that, you can now decide how much of a threat it is and how much of a strength it is. But the three questions that we would ask ourselves, I think the courts will be able to address them. That is, where is the human authorship? Where did the learning material come from? And what expression emerged in the final output? So on that note, I will leave you to begin to ponder. I wish I could sculpt as an artist, and I wish I were an artist. But at least I can get AI to turn me into a sculptor, and I will smilingly please myself that indeed I am sculpting a human form, whether you like it or you don't like it. That is AI as a strength. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. No, sorry, for the students, we'll come back and have our session. We'll come back and have our session. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. John Desen. As a matter of fact, thank you very, very much, Dr. John Desen, the Director General of Copyright Commission. Yes, I think, as a matter of fact, that was a very wonderful one, and I expected that standing ovation from him. Another round of applause to him, please. If I know all of us were listening very, very attentively. In fact, that's the peak of the moment, and I think this has a lot to do with brainstorming. DG, sir, with due respect, is a wonderful one. And from what we've heard from you, is enormous. And this goes a long way to bring an exposition to us. That means that once you are making a painting, a sculptural work, or whatever, sure, you keep a record in case. You may be claiming a work or an artwork. Someone somewhere may be asking you how do you know it's yours? And in the right direction, Doc has told us that it's also good for us to keep records. If you're making a painting, try to get some snapshots of the processes. If you're sculpting, try to get a right direction of what you're doing. And when Doc voice imagery, I quickly remembered in the music world, Peter Tosh and Lucky Dube. These two artists, they have the same voice, but their instruments vary. So, Doc, sir, your presence here, I think we have a long way to go in terms of trying to get something from you. The question now lies on us to identify when we are getting it right and when we are getting it wrong. Thank you very much, sir. I will ask that we have a hard copy or whatever copy we can get for this, because this will give us a soft landing somewhere. Thank you, sir. We appreciate. Yeah. All right. At this juncture, we are going to usher in a guest speaker for the moment. Right. And our guest speaker is no other than Professor Projo Iname, of the University of Cross River State, Calabar. A round of applause to Prof. Yes. And after presentation, we are going to go into our award. Thank you, erudite professor. You're welcome.
Hello, good evening. I want to say hello to the VC of the school here represented. I know they've already done this, but I just have to welcome even the president of SNA and the vice president, then the DG, who has just given us this wonderful keynote lecture. We appreciate you and we greet you very much. I'm here to give the lecture on the title, Protecting Human Creativity in the Age of AI-Generated Visual Arts, the Role of Intellectual Property Rights. Before I start, I would just say thank you. It is both a gratifying pleasure and an immense honor for me to deliver this lecture. I'm particularly delighted to be in the midst of other artists. As a matter of fact, it's the first time I'm coming to the university here, and I feel honored to be with you. It's necessary to inspire artists to excel in this difficult terrain, thereby channeling the power and energy of AI for human advancement, contribute to the growth and development of Nigeria and the world at large. I wish to state appreciation and gratitude to the entire faculty. I mean the faculty of SNA. When I mean faculty, it's broadly. It is said that honor attracts respect, reputation romances good character, and merit marries excellence. I had to adjust and readjust this topic when I was trying to get it right. Knowing fully well what AI is doing in the world, I went straight into an overwhelming state of fear combined with nervousness. But can I tell you why the fear and anxiety? I do not want this lecture not to be impactful. So I am very happy with what we have already heard from the keynote speaker. It is worth it. It is not a waste, because have occasions like this and they come out with nothing for us to achieve. But with that keynote address, I want to say that we've started registering successes. I am anxious because in analyzing that confront us, not be overwhelmed as to give up hope. I will therefore consider this lecture successful if and we will resolve to be more tenacious in a positive way to move the arts forward, to develop and transform the visual arts through relevant AI, appropriately applied to economically, socially, technologically transform artists, just like other sectors. Just like the keynote speaker said, other sectors are moving on even with what is happening with AI. But in the visual arts, we are still questioning, are we artists? Is it being taken from us and all that? But I want us to know that the world faces situations like this. And what happens? They come out with solutions and they move on because it cannot be changed. AI has come to stay. So we must either catch up with it or we remain at the back. I wake up not knowing what to expect. At times I begin to ask myself some basic questions. Is it rescuing the visual arts and neglecting AI? Or is it misapplying AI and truncating genuine development and progress? These questions are the questions we should be asking ourselves. With the above, you may begin to wonder if indeed the visual arts need to be rescued. Is it true that the visual arts needs to be rescued? If yes, from what and with what? We may ask, has the value been lost? Has visual art lost its directions? Is a question we should ask, especially when we're looking at strengths and threats of AI to visual art. Do you really feel that the visual art has lost its direction? Has it suffered backward transformation to be compared to the dark ages? You know what happened to in the dark ages? Have we gone to that level that will begin to associate the visual arts to the dark ages? Is hope lost on the future of the sector? For this paper, I clearly identified the problem. The problem of this paper, as we all know, is clearly stated that how can we protect the visual arts? And then the context is AI-generated visual arts. And the focus is intellectual property rights. I started this paper by looking at what AI is. I'm a teacher. I like starting from the primary things before getting to what we don't know. Some people may be hearing AI. They may not know what AI is. But from the banner there, you know now people find it difficult to read. They don't even want to tax their brain to begin to read what things mean. So I start by saying that AI is artificial intelligence, and it is the biggest technological advancement in the world now and in the country. It is very important. It is major and requires everybody to join the dialogue, or the train will leave anyone who does not want to join behind. I don't know if we appreciate that from the keynote address that we had. So you either join the train or the train leaves you behind, because AI has come to stay and is moving forward. So I want to define what artificial intelligence is. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that builds systems capable of performing tasks that requires human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, and problem solving. AI systems analyze massive amounts of data to recognize patterns and make decisions without needing anything else. AI is as revolutionary as the mobile phone, as the internet, as the microprocessor, the personal computer, and all that. So just know that AI is as revolutionary as all that. And we are all using them, and we can do with them. So we can also do with AI. What is AI-generated visual art? AI-generated visual art is the artwork that is created wholly or partly with the help of artificial intelligence. And I've said that artificial intelligence is AI. So instead of drawing and painting directly, a person provides instructions, and those instructions are called prompts. You heard him referring to them as prompt. Prompts are instructions that artists give to AI for AI to begin to create things. So we have a person provides instructions, which are prompts, like images or other inputs, and AI models generate or transform the visual content based on patterns it learned. So we have example of AI-generated art. We have digital painting. We have illustrations. We have concept art. We have character design, landscape and fantasy scenes, logos and graphic design, photorealist images, style transfer word, restored and enhanced photos. So those are examples of visual art, AI, visual art, examples of AI-generated visual art. So we move now to what AI is used for in visual art. There are several ways AI is used in visual art. The first one is text to image. The second one is image to image. The third one is style transfer. And the fourth one is editing and enhancement. I don't know, the keynote speaker helped me a lot because he gave us all this, although he did not spell them out like this, but from his discussion, he explained all this in his discussion. So it's a big plus for us. It's a big plus for us. So we have looked at those, and we have to look at now the advantages of AI. The advantages of AI. We have speed and efficiency. I know most of us must have tried using AI to work. You see that you have speed. A painting that used to take artists how many years to do, now you can take it within a day or 2 days. You've gotten your painting ready. So AI, the advantage of AI is for speed and efficiency, is for brainstorming. AI becomes your partner that you brainstorm with. If you do not give AI the correct prompts, the right prompts, there's no way you will get a successful result or a successful artwork. So we look at the democratization, we look at accessibility, experimentation, preservation and restoration. So those are the advantages of AI. We look at the disadvantages now, the disadvantages of AI or challenges. You see copyright and ownership. If I must tell you, yes, if we look at the curriculum we've been teaching, we don't teach our students enough of copyright laws. So they don't even know what they are doing. They just produce artworks. They don't register them, nothing. They don't have the details of what it takes to own your artwork as a property. So that is the biggest problem there. But I'm happy today that the keynote speaker was able to give us those ideas. And I'll be glad if he can give us soft copies or hard copies of his so that we can take them to the classroom. So we have copyright and ownership as a disadvantage. We have authenticity crisis. We have economic displacement, training data issues, deep fakes and ethics. He talked about all this in his works. Attribution loss and all that. So what do we mean by IP. IP is intellectual property. When I put an R, then it's an intellectual property right. What does it mean? Intellectual property refers to creation of the mind, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, designs and symbols, names and images used. So IP refers to creation of the mind and innovations that originate from a person's mental effort. It is a category of property that includes intangible creations of the human intelligence. The best known are patents, we have copyrights, and the rights for persons over creations. Copyrights are rights for persons over creations of their mind. They usually give the creator an exclusive right over the use of his or her creation. Certain periods of time are usually given. It depends on the country and how far we have gone. Copyrights and rights-related documents are what are supposed to be used to control these types of IPRS. I've said that IPRS are intellectual property rights, and I've mentioned them already. So how can you own an IP? How can you own an IP? To legally own an IP, you ought to secure formal registration, ensure contractors assign their rights to you in writing, and use non-disclosure agreement to protect your trade secrets before public release. How can artists protect their works from AI? Artists can protect their works from AI using any of these. At times it's good to combine them for you to be successful. So we have copyright registration, we have licensing, we have watermarks and signatures, we have metadata embedding, we have limit image quality online, AI resistant tools, platform controls and monitoring and enforcement. All these are ways that artists need to do to them. Artists completely prevent AI from using their works. It's a big question. Can artists completely prevent AI from using their work? At present, I don't think so. No method guarantees protection. Once artwork is publicly available online, people can go into it anyhow. You cannot control it. Images can be copied, downloaded, or scrapped, despite technical and legal measures. Protection is therefore often a combination. You can do a combination of them, either legal rights, like copyright and licensing, or technical measures, that is watermarks, metadata, and AI-resistant techniques. You can use platform policies, or you can use active monitoring and enforcement. What is the way forward? What is the way forward? We are here on a summit, and in summits, leaders usually gather to make tangible laws and to write things that will favor the visual arts. What has SNA, what grounds has SNA prepared towards AI and AI-related works? That is a big question we should ask ourselves today. So what are it? So we have consent, credit, and compensation. If the association can do this for artists, I'm sure it will be very positive and successful. So we begin to look at, to evolve in intellectual property laws, to have transparency rules, to balance tools versus replacement, and collective advocacy. That's the way forward. In conclusion, artificial intelligence has become indispensable. I hope we all know that. In nation building, as they are catalysts for any meaningful development. AI has technological, ethical, cultural, and artistic implications. We are reshaping the field of visual arts in profound ways. To mention but a few, we have things like enhancing preservation through image analysis. We have expanding access through museums, virtual museums, and opening new possibilities of artistic creations. The thesis is that, what is the thesis? The thesis is that intellectual property rights must evolve to protect humanities by ensuring consent, credit, and compensation when AI is trained on artworks. Before now, copyright protected artists. Today, AI models are trained without permission, blurring the meaning of creativity and ownership. All of us know that visual artists are crying and saying that we need to balance AI too, and AI should not be, we should not have AI as a replacement of art, which is very true. AI should not replace AI. We can use AI as a tool to help us work. So from here, let us ask ourselves basic questions. Is AI really a threat? Is it a strength? It depends on you, the artist. What do you choose? I believe that if we begin to look positively and begin to do that we're supposed to do, to know our rights as artists, I don't think we should worry about AI being a threat. We should work harder. And as we work harder, we'll continue to keep our names as artists. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Prof. A round of applause, please. You can really see that coming here today is a thing of joy and gratitude to God, because all we have had today is a compendium of knowledge, challenge, and better crucibles. Thank you very much. Well, before actually we go further, we're going to have presentation of awards. But pardon me, with due respect to all and sundry here present, before I further identify some dignitaries in our midst, may we please crave the indulgence of all that is here present. Can we, for a minute, stand for a 1 minute silence for our past member who has gone beyond to meet God in the honor of Ndapadi Obinna. 1 minute, and former chairman SNA and former chairman of association. 1 minute silence, please. May the soul of Ndapadi Obinna and others who have gone to great beyond rest in the bosom of our Lord Jesus Christ, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. May we be seated, please. Yes. Please, before we go into the award proper, excuse me, sir. May I recognize the presence of Dr. Victor Ian from Ebonyi State. Is he present, please? A round of applause to him. May I also recognize the presence of Stanley Adiele from Abia State. You are welcome, sir. We have in our midst also the chapter secretary of Abia State, though his name wasn't mentioned. Stand, please, and wave your hands. Thank you very, very much. We also have distinguished lecturers from our reputable institutions, from Imo State University, Abia State University, the Polytechnic, the Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, and of course, Alvan Ikoku Federal University of Education, OWERRI. We have distinguished lecturers of arts in our midst. You are all welcome, and we thank you for coming to this laudable summit. You are welcome. We are now going into the awards proper. May I hand over the microphone to you, sir?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Time fast spent, and we are going to be very brief. Two things will happen after now. I've consulted with participants, and they are likely to move their presentations to tomorrow because someone cannot, spend time to write, come here, you don't present, get certificate and go. People are not happy with that. So we have workshop tomorrow, but we are going to start with paper presentation before the workshop, and we close it there. Again, I have an indigene of Imo State who is quietly doing something serious in this state. He's a friend, he has been of help and support, we've been working together. He is constructing arts residency. Students, you have to listen to this. An opportunity has come for you. People travel abroad for art residency. But this one, he has brought it down here and quietly. So we are going there with the guests to show the place. But for all of you, the place is going to be open officially next year. So be rest assured that's something great. And maybe you have to give me maybe chieftaincy title because I've drawn something here. The guy is doing well in art internationally. For us, we know if someone has exhibited in Smithsonian Museum, you should know he's a big artist. So if time permits, I wanted him to speak briefly before we move to that point. But here we are also. We have a very big fish in our beast. Sir Bat Mugo, FSNA. He is a big fish that you did not identify. He has been working behind the scene. What else can we do than to say, sir, you are a great patron behind, please come forward now, so that Imo chapter will know you. And he told me something. That is why I now know that we have succeeded. Because every chapter we go for an event, we create something. We revive spirits. Someone told me a lot about this event, but Chief Dean asked me to say what I'm going to say now. He said, after now, he will begin to call them and know what the problem is. It means he's prepared. So we are calling on Sabat Mugo to step forward, and his boy, are you not his boy? His boy is going to read very brief citation of him. We have another person we are going to give patronship. The person is not here, is outside the country. I'm trying to trap people to come and help you by giving them patronship. Then the third award is for the chapter chairman, Dr. Kelechi, who is in US right now. He's going to zoom into this program. So he will be given outstanding chairman. He's a fellow of Society of Nigerian Artists and the one that took over from Sir Paddy Obinna. So the only citation we are going to read now because of time is that of Sir Bad Mugo. May you step forward.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll, for want of time, stand on existing protocols to reel out the citation of the man standing before us. Sir Bartholomew Nwugo, Fellow, Society of Nigerian Artists, was born on the 14th day of October 1969. He had his primary education at Town School, Amocha, in Njaba local government area of Imo State. Post-primary at the Technical School, Umowa in Olu. And further to the Institute of Management and Technology through 1990 and 96 with a bias in graphics. Sir Bartholomew Nwugo is a man of many parts, a director in multi-spheres. He is the chairman, CEO, A+B Multi-Sectors, the managing director, Imo State University Press, and the chairman, CEO, A+ Business School Hub, and again, the chairman, chief executive of Olabati Enterprises. He also doubles as the president of Amocha Leaders Consultative Forum, the chairman, Amocha ABC People's Assembly, OWERRI, till date. And he is married to barrister Mrs. Olachi Choma Nwugo, a marriage that is blessed with 3 lovely children. Ladies and gentlemen, before us stands the man of many parts, a man who has contributed so much in the world of art, here and beyond. I present to us Sir Bartholomew Nwugo, Fellow, Society of Nigerian Artists.
Thank you. Please, to present this award is His Excellency, the President of Society of Nigerian Artists, Mr. Mohammed Suleiman.
Distinguished Art Patron, Society of Nigerian Artists, I want to thank you for all of the energies and everything you've been doing for us. And we hope it continues. This is the beginning, right? Thank you very much. Congratulations. To you, Sir Bartholomew Nwugo, we do appreciate this, and we're hoping that this will hang clearly on your walls. And thank you for all of the patronship you've been doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, in appreciation for what you have given me today as the Grand Patron, Society of Nigerian Artists. I can only tell you that you are now sending me for a mission, and you are not just sending me, but you are sending me to go and fight and conquer. I promise you that the service has started, and I will never fail you. In addition to that, I will support this association with a sum of 300,000 naira.
Please, a round of applause to Sir Pat. He has actually given SNA a beautiful token of 300,000 naira. A round of applause, please. What I may call 300,000 shekels. And that is it. Thank you so much. May the Almighty God replenish your pocket and bless your entire family to greater heights. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to an end of this wonderful summit for day 1. To God be the glory. Some people were really asking me that I introduced others, I didn't introduce myself. Well, I am Sir Prince C.D. Ngoka, MFR KSC. To God be the glory. We thank you all for coming, and the Almighty God in His infinite mercy will grant all of us success in this great summit. Our noble President, you are welcome. The Almighty God will lead you through today, tomorrow, and forever. Likewise, professors that are here in our midst, and the awardees, all and sundry that has come, you did not come just to sit down and watch. You've come to tap the intellectual exercise that has been brought down to us here today. Before we wrap it up for the day, I will also call upon Yastik to come and lead us in a closing prayer before we leave. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not leaving the presence of God, but we are living for today to converge tomorrow for the presentation of papers. And it's going to be wonderful. You can see that today is a great day. Tomorrow will be greater. Thank you very much. Closing prayer from Yastik. Thank you.
Once again, I would want to, on behalf of the State Chapter SNA, apologize to all and sundry for our starting off a bit late today. But we promise that tomorrow's event, that is the day 2, we will start on time, 10 a.m., so that people can make their presentations and more lectures from our resource persons, so that we can call it a day on time. On that, can we all stand for the closing prayer of this first day? In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Our Father in heaven, we want to really appreciate you for making it possible for us to witness the first day of this summit. A lot has gone into it, or a lot went into it right from the beginning of this year. We had the hustles, we had our merits, but here we are today, concluding the first part of this program. We return all the glory to you in Jesus' mighty name. We thank you for the presence of our invitees. We thank you for the presence of every one person who made it to attend this program. We say, Lord, as they have come, grant them journey mercies back to their respective destinations, that we will all gather here again tomorrow to continue from where we stopped today. This and more we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please, I think it will be very wonderful for us to have a group photograph. Today is the one, there is need for a group photograph, at least with the president and other people that are here present. Group photograph, please.